Good morning. I hope everybody's having a great day. I want to show you guys the door. The door is fitting extremely flush. You see that? Along the side here, this area, and on this area. Now, let me show you the front door. The front door, as you saw in earlier videos, when I put this up, I wasn't that thrilled, but I had to make it work. You can see the lighter, it's a lighter piece of wood. Let me see if I bring you in. And you can see that right there. It was a gap. So when I would close the door from the kitchen, and of course when I turn the house around all the way, try not to hit it on anything. But it used to be when I would close the door from the kitchen that it was a gap, a big gap behind the door. And you could kind of see the framing that I put up right there. Let me see if I can bring the light a little bit better. Okay, and so it was a gap behind the door, but now it's not as noticeable. It's pretty good. It's decent. I mean, the door is generally always open anyways, but still, it's decent. It'll do for me. It's a Dollhouse. I can always change it, but it's just not that serious. The door is gorgeous. Either way, yeah. So now let's go back here because I want you guys to see something here. All right. You can see the door, the hinges. See how flush it is right in the corner? Talking about, oops, well, it was right up against that. So let me go around. I'm going to put that door back so you guys can see. Hold on. Okay, I'm back. So now you can see that it's flush along the wall, okay, where the brackets are. Of course, there's a little gap underneath. That's not a big deal. I have to build the porch, so that'll go away. That'll just disappear with the rest of the building. And I've got to do a framing around the door as well. So, on the inside and out. But anyway, you can see that. So, let me stop saying so. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is kind of explain this door a little bit more as well. Let me show you guys though. The siding, the wood siding, this I don't know what I did, but I had an empty spot here. It was no longer siding. So I replaced those. I'm currently replacing these. I made a mistake and cut that one. That one has just a space in between, which is not a big deal. And I've got to replace along the back of the light. And I've got to sturdy the light a lot better. I left it like this because when I do the framing, I have to make this make sense. So the framing here is going to go on this side of the door. It's going to fit neatly into this gap. And that way it's not going to cover this but so much, just a little teensy bit. Then I have to work myself up here and I have to finish out the framing here. But now that I have this light, I have to make sure that I can get up under here on this side, bring this framing all the way up to go around the door, then put one up on top, and it's going to be a little thinner on this side. It's going to go from here to here. This side is going to be a little thinner because you can see I don't have a whole lot of room to frame over here, but I got a nice amount here, which is good because I can actually write in or either make or maybe use my gold paint, and I could paint the address on here, which is probably going to be 333. Okay. But yeah, so that is what's going on right now with the door. Also, I have to do wood filling. I have to do more wood filling. And if you can also notice, if I think I talked about it. One other thing that I did was the brackets. I wanted for my own self. I have a thing. I like to, and I'm sure other people do too. But I like things to kind of flow when I'm looking at it. And so when you look at the corner, and you look at this door, the side door, and the front door, you can notice that the brackets are lined up. You see? See that? You can see the brackets here a little bit. And then you see the brackets there. And it's lined up. And so that was important to me. Another thing I want to explain to you guys too, whenever you need to sand something, use, let's see if I can get this to work better. Use the, I think it's pronounced Marquardt, and it's 100 to 180. And I purchased a box of these a long time ago, and I still have like probably at least 12 left. It was a nice size packet, I think, from Amazon. So I use these. Let me kind of show you. I use those like when I'm fitting a door, because the frame sometimes when you put it in the best you can, but sometimes because of the cut may not be exactly 100% straight. You know, we're human, and we put it in because this side is thinner and this side is thicker. I can't explain why, except for something probably I did when I was creating this door. But what I tend to do is I use this to sand. I use the rigid side, and then I have a smooth side. And I sand that opening, and then I continue to, oops, wait a second. I continue to put the door on and to see if it is going to fit. And that is pretty much how I get my doors to fit as good as I can get them to fit. And yeah, and make sure that not only does the door fit, but like the closure around the door is as comfortable, but not so tight that I can't open it, or when I put a handle, the handle pulls off because I'm prying the door open. So those are things you want to check for. And the brackets, let me, hold on, I'm going to pause you for a second. Okay, I'm back. All right, so the brackets that are on the door, I made sure before I put them in, and these are 2 sticks on this side, 2 sticks on that side, 2 short ones on the top, and 2 on the bottom, and that's both sides. Try though, it'll be easier unless you get paint with primer. When you're putting the sticks on, make sure that the barcode is in the middle, like that you don't see it, okay? I did not do that on that side, but it's okay because I've got paint with primer. But when you put the brackets on, make sure that you play around with the brackets. And they come, usually you could get those from factory direct, and they come in a little bag. But make sure that you play around with them. When you're putting in a door, you want to know which way that bracket is going to open. Okay? In this case, it's left to right, open, open left, and then close to the right. So that's something you want to do. And when I go to glue this in, what I will be doing, I have the brackets out. Be careful not to press too hard on the plastic, although it is between the sticks. But the brackets are going to be glued here along the door, okay? And that's going to help me to open and close the door. Let's see if I can bring this back a little bit. Okay, yeah, that's going to help me open and close the door. And not only that, I'm just going to put a very narrow piece of wood here just to cover that bracket on the inside of the doorway. And that's it. I'm going to use the wood glue to do that. And as I said, when you're making a door, oh, I left a bracket out. Make sure your brackets are on correctly, all three. And it's kind of like if you look at the doors in your house, you can see how the brackets should go. But yeah, you want to make sure that the door closes as you want. And for this door, I'm looking at up top here, right around this area. I'm going to take it out. And I'm going to end up filing a little bit. Not too crazy though, because then I'm gonna have a weird looking door. But yeah, I want to make sure that that door is gonna open and close just the way I want it to. And I'm gonna make a little bit of a frame. Like I said, I've got to do the framing around the door. That frame is gonna come. It's going to lay on top of this little, I think you guys could see it. It's going to lay on the little edge here, this little lip. And so it'll just come over just to, again, to here. But yeah, that's where I'm at. And I hope that this video helps someone who may be considering making a door. So you can see how easy it can be. It's not hard. Yeah, you just want to take your time and play around with it and make sure that it's what you want for your house. But yeah, you can make these doors. You can make a lot of things. You don't have to always buy them. And I know the first time can seem scary, but once you get past the first time, the second, third, fourth, fifth, it gets easy, very easy. And actually, you just enjoy it more. So I hope this video helps and that you all have a wonderful, wonderful week. And I hope I'm not like talking weird, but I just pulled my mask down. But yeah, you guys have a wonderful week. And oh, one more thing. Let me show you this. Because I don't know if I talked about the wood glue, but I've got this. And this is awesome. I got it from Lowe's. And this works beautiful. Let me take the top off. And looks like that, like putty. It's so cool. And that is what I will be finishing, the little nicks and the little cuts in the wrong way, it's the wrong areas, like the gaps in the door up top and on the bottom. That's what I'll be finishing with and filling with to get more of a smoother look. I usually use my fingers. You can always use a small knife, anything that is not going to leave lint or either just not give you that texture that you want, okay? All right, have a great day. Bye.